This video is brought to you by Jab.se, the lead supplier of MMA gear in Scandinavia. BetSafe.com, Europe's only online betting site for MMA.
Sebastian Vendel-Martinez with MMAnytt and StudioMMA, and we're here with Michael Bisping, who faces Alan Belchers at UFC 159. And so, Michael, you're back in England once again. How does it feel?
It's great to be home. You know, I live in California now, and we have a great life there. But obviously, I'm an Englishman. It's always nice to come back home, and you know, I miss England. So it's nice to be home.
I imagine it's quite a big difference living in America and living in England. Is there anything in particular that you miss about England?
The main thing that I miss, I would say, is the sense of humour. You know, I think the English have a great sense of humour, and I'm not knocking the American sense of humour, of course, but you know, I do miss, you know, the sarcasm and you know, the piss taking, as we call it. You know, the English love to take the piss. My mate,
subtle humour.
Yeah. You know, so I miss the sense of humour for sure.
I'm not sure of the weather you prefer of the US.
Oh. Yeah, I definitely don't miss the weather. That was one of the determining factors why we moved to the US. Yeah, the weather. And, of course, you know, England, it rains a lot. But the part where I come from, statistically, has the most rainfall in the entire country. The Ribble Valley, yeah. So it's a beautiful area. It really is a beautiful area, but it rains all the time. So, yeah, I don't miss the rain.
All right. Well, going from rain, something that's a bit irritating, to something else that might be a bit irritating. You're facing Alan Belchers, a fighter who's been calling you out for a long time.
He has an irritating tattoo, and he's a very irritating individual. Yes. Sorry, continue.
No, it's no problem. And which would you say is worse, his tattoo or the haircut that Mark Munoz had when he faced Wiedman?
Oh, there's an expression that some people in England use called mingy. You know, and it's hard to say which one was mingier. The Mark Munoz's haircut or Alan Belchers' tattoo, I don't know, but they're both pretty mingy.
Now,
and that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a bad haircut and it was a bad tattoo. But fortunately, Mark Munoz, listen, by the way, I did touch on that a little bit when he had that haircut, and I talked a little bit of trash about. Yeah, but Mark Munoz is one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and he's a very, very nice individual. So I have no problem with Mark Munoz or his head. But you know, he can grow that. Alan Belchers is stuck with that tattoo for the rest of his life. Apparently, it's Johnny Cash. It looks like a fat Elvis. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking when he got that done.
And what do you think about him as an opponent? Do you see how do you match up your strengths against his?
Do you know what? I think I match up very well. I never underestimate anybody, and I'm going to train accordingly. Obviously, my last fight didn't go to plan, so I'm coming off a loss. So I'm going to do everything I can to ensure victory. But I think I match up well. I think I've got better wrestling. I think I've got better jiu-jitsu. He doesn't really have incredible knockout power, so I'm not overly concerned with that. Of course, you don't want to get hit by anybody. But he's not really, you know, he's not a one-punch knockout type of guy. He's not a wrestler. You know, to be honest, I'm not concerned by anything that he's really going to bring. He's a good fighter. He's had some wins. But I believe I'm better in all areas, and I'm going to punish him on April 27th.
Well, it's definitely the makings of an exciting match. You touched a bit before on the unfortunate loss, which derailed the title shot.
Sure.
The middleweight division is now in a... it's at a bit of a halt now, as you were promised a title shot. As a middleweight, who do you feel deserves a title shot, if anyone?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, it pains me to say this, but I could probably see sense in them making a Chris Wiedman title shot. I don't think he deserves it, if I'm honest, but he's undefeated. You know, he beat Mark Munoz and he beat Damian Maia in his last two fights. So, you know, not bad opponents. He's still a novice, you know. That's why he's undefeated, because he hasn't been around too long. I used to be undefeated. I'm not anymore because I've been in the UFC for 7 years. I'm pretty sure Chris Wiedman was having his nappy changed or a diaper changed, whatever you want to call it, when that was taking place. But, you know, he's undefeated. He's a prospect. He's a good-looking kid. He talks well, all the rest of it, you know. He's got a bit of hype around him. I could understand them making that matchup.
Now, judging by the way you've spoken about him, I guess you're picking, if this match takes place, I guess you pick Anderson Silva as winner?
Yeah, of course. You know, listen, Anderson, you know, is the best fighter in the UFC. He's the best fighter in the world. Yeah, you know, Weidman's a great wrestler. He's a very, very good wrestler. Other than that, I don't see much. Yes, he knocked out Mark Munoz with an elbow, but I don't think he's a particularly good stand-up artist. He's a good wrestler, and Anderson Silva's proven time and time again. Well, he's beaten lots of wrestlers. Let's put it that way. He's beaten lots of wrestlers.
Now, you've had quite a few heated rivalries with some fighters, amongst others Jason Miller and Jorge Rivera. Which fighter would you say the rivalry was the hardest or most heated?
Well, you hit two of them on the head right there, Jason Miller and Jorge Rivera. Both of them were pretty heated, Jorge Rivera really pissed me off. He really hit a nerve. He did all these stupid videos and, really upset me. And it wasn't fake. It wasn't for the cameras or anything like that. I was really, really annoyed. And I told him, as soon as I laid eyes on him at the press conference for the fight, I said, you're in trouble, mate, because you can talk all the shit you want, but we're going to fight. So I'm going to get my chance to get revenge, And I'm an emotional guy. And, I fight better like that. But Jason Miller was the same way. There was a few times on The Ultimate Fighter, he got quite physical with me. He pushed me, etc. And even one of my assistant coaches, Tiki Gorson, said, Mike, you can't let Jason, this is when we were talking, at dinner, not on camera. He said, you can't let Jason keep doing that to you. I said, well, what do I do? I said, I'm not going to fight him. You've got two choices. You either let him do it or you fight him. I said, well, I'm not going to fight him on, I'm a professional fighter. I'm a professional. I'm an athlete. I'm not a thug, I'm not going to fight him, so he can do whatever he wants. He'll get his comeuppance on December 4th, and he got that, and it felt very, very satisfying to give it to him.
And just to round off here, which win would you say was more satisfying, against Rivera or Miller?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I acted like a bit of an asshole after the Jorge Rivera fight. I kind of lost my cool a little bit. I don't know. They were both pretty satisfying, to be honest. It feels good when somebody's really pissed you off that you can go out there and get paid a lot of money to beat them up. Do you know what I mean? When somebody's really pissed you off and your job is to go out there and you get to punch them in the face as hard as you can and you get paid to do it, it's very, very satisfying. I love my job.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you continue loving your job at UFC 159, where Michael Bisping takes on Alan Belcher, and we look forward to seeing you much, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Do you know, for a split second when you walked in, I thought you were Kenny Florian. Have you ever heard that before?
No, before I had a beard, some people thought I looked like Frank Mir, because then I just had a
really?
But Florian, I've never heard before.
Is
it a suit?
A little smaller than Frank Mir.
Yeah, I have a little look of Kenny Florian. What do I know? Maybe I'm wrong.
He's part Peruvian and I'm part Mexican, so maybe.
No, there you go, yeah.
He's the same mix as Cobb Swanson.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're both Swedish-Mexican, born in California.
Swedish-Mexican, born in California, there you go. Yeah. What more do you want?
You just go whenever you want.
Okay.
Put that on. Oh, excuse me.
Redo?
Yeah.
Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.